Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Meenakshi and I have completed my LLM from National Law University, Assam. I am doing a video series on the Indian Contract Act. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description box below. You can click on the link and check all the other videos related to Indian Contract Act. In the last video, we discussed about the Indian Contract Act, what all provisions are there in the Indian Contract Act, and also that sales of goods and partnership was also a part of the Indian Contract Act until 1930 and 1932. So in today's video, we will start with the actual Indian Contract Act, what all provisions are there, the chapters that are there in the Indian Contract Act. So I'll also share a screen over here, you can check that out and then listen to the discussion. It would be easier for you to understand. The Indian Contract Act is divided into 11 chapters. If you see the Bare Act of Indian Contract Act, then you would see all those 11 different chapters and also what all articles are there in each chapter. So the first part of the Indian Contract Act, it is mentioned as the preliminary part. It contains only two sections, Section 1 and Section 2. Section 1 is regarding the scope of the Indian Contract Act, that where and what would be the jurisdiction of the Indian Contract Act, where it would be applicable. So basically, the Indian Contract Act would be applicable to the whole of India. Earlier, it was not applicable to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, but after the amendment, now it is applicable to the state of Jammu and Kashmir as well. So that means it is applicable to whole of India. And the second section is Section 2, that gives us definition of certain terms used under the Indian Contract Act. After the preliminary part starts the actual chapters, the 11 chapters that we have under the Indian Contract Act. The first chapter is containing sections 3 to sections 9. It talks about communication of proposal, acceptance of proposal, how a proposal can be revoked and all of those provisions. Chapter 2 is containing sections 10 to sections 30. It talks about contracts, voidable contracts, void agreements and all of that. Third chapter is sections 31 to 36. It talks about contingent contract. That means when a contract is depending on happening or non-happening of a certain situation, that those types of contracts are mentioned under sections 31 to 36. Next chapter is chapter 4. It contains sections 37 to 67. It talks about performance of contract. Next chapter is chapter 5. It is sections 68 to 72. It talks about certain relations resembling those created by contract. That means contractual relationships. Next is section 73 to section 75. It talks about consequences that parties may have to face because of breach of contract or breach of contractual obligations. Next is sections 76 to 123. So that part is repealed, as we discussed in the previous class also. That part is repealed and it was relating to sale of goods. Now we have a separate act. Next sections are 124 to 147. It talks about specific contracts, a contract of indemnity and a contract of guarantee. Next is relating to bailment, sections 148 to 181. It is relating to contract of bailment. What would be the who all would be the parties to a contract of bailment? What would be their powers, responsibilities, duties, and all of that. Next is contract of agency, sections 182 to 238. And the last part of the Indian Contract Act was 239 to 266. So that part is also been repealed. That was relating to the Partnership Act. Now we have a separate act or a separate legislation that deals with contract of partnership. So these are the main provisions that we have under the Indian Contract Act. So you can take a screenshot of this table and then you can read it. Why it would be helpful for you is that, for example, if any question comes regarding maybe indemnity or guarantee, which section of the Indian Contract Act defines the term indemnity, and various options are given, maybe section 76, 79 and then 124 and then 238. So it would be easier for you if you know the chapters, that this chapter is containing these many sections and this is what it talks about. So even if you do not know the exact section, many times it would be easier for you to answer objective based questions. So you can try to remember this particular list as much as you can, the chapters, and also what all provisions are there in each of these chapters. So that was all for this discussion. We will continue with what is a contract and what is an agreement and the difference between agreement and a contract in the next class. Until we meet next time, bye-bye.